Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined, as always, by The Boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and today we are talking about Tortles and Loxodon.
In our vein of trying to thematically connect the races we don't feel like we have a whole podcast worth of material on, we went with big boys today.
Mm-hmm. Now, there are, of course, lots of other big boys.
Which just means that we'll have more big boys podcasts.
Most certainly. For once, I don't feel like dallying around. Let's just drive right into this.
Let's go.
So let's start with the Tortles, because I feel like you're going to have the most to say about Tortles.
Well, only because I literally just finished making a 3rd level Tortle Paladin.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, Tortles are tortoise people. They're very wise. They're like a whole race of Yodas. Honestly, actually, if you play World of Warcraft, the Tortolans are really similar to what a turtle is.
Yep.
Not only visually, but just in the way they act. It's exactly what you'd expect if you made a turtle person and you didn't make a ninja turtle.
Basically, yeah. Although it is possible to make a ninja turtle.
And lots of people have. I've seen so many character concepts online that's like, do you get it? Which is fine. It's not for me, because I would have to control 4 to feel, I'm doing them justice.
Or have everyone in the party be a turtle.
No, then I would just criticize everyone else.
That's that self-awareness. The turtle sages would be proud.
It sure is. It's why I haven't played a turtle yet. And it is the only reason.
Well, typically we do this in interview style, but what I like about turtles... I had to. You have to know that I had to.
Okay. No, I didn't say anything, you see. This is not a visual medium, my friend.
He's making such a face. I like Tortles both because I like specifically their thing where their AC is just 17. They never get their dex bonus to their AC. It's just 17 or better. Done. It really helps free up a lot of stuff for character concepts. Like, I'm playing a paladin, which honestly isn't even the best use of a turtle. You'd want, like a turtle spellcaster to get the best use out of that feature. Because then they don't have to care about having a good dex at all. Because their AC is already good.
I mean, Turtle Monk goes together really well. Not just because lol Ninja Turtles lol. I feel as though the various Ninja Turtles would have classes different from just Monk, and I could go into detail on this and may in the future. Moving on. But because I don't think you get that wisdom bonus, though, to your AC that monks get.
Yeah, you don't.
So, but still, you got that solid 17. If you're not trying to be a monk who uses their wisdom bonus for a lot of shit, you don't have to worry about it. Like, if your specific brand of monk...
Actually, you might, because technically you're not wearing armor. So, you might.
You might, yeah. So, who knows? You'd have to Google it. I'll Google it right now while you talk about why you love turtles.
I like that. I like a lot of their mechanics being more focused on making sense for Tortle, for like the race that it is, as opposed to trying to fit into a mechanical niche, because some of their stuff is a little wonky, I guess, is the easiest way to explain it.
The overrule is you can only ever pick one AC calculation.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. It's either the 17 or the plus dex plus whiz.
But, like, they're retracted into their shell. It makes perfect sense to work exactly how it does, but it's next to useless in combat.
It's got very niche uses. The fact that it's an action is the hard thing.
Yeah, it's an action, so you can't use it to react to attacks. The only thing you can do is take a reaction to get out of it when you're in there. I guess you could also go to sleep, which is probably what I'll have my character do. But it's a plus 4 to AC, but that's only useful if you're not being attacked directly, because otherwise you're prone, which means that people who are attacking you in melee have an advantage to hit you. Now, your AC is now a 21, which is pretty high. In the high end of D&D 5e ACs. Mm-hmm. But It's not unhittable, especially with advantage. And I believe you're not incapacitated, so you don't get auto crit, but you are prone.
So the rule of advantage and disadvantages is that it ends up equaling out to roughly plus or minus 2, statistically speaking. So because you get the +4 to the AC, you do have a theoretical net advantage.
You do, but like it's... You also can't do anything else while it's like that. There is a cat in our area.
He's doing the "I want to play with you guys" dance, and when he doesn't get that, he gets very upset. He seems to have gotten distracted by something shiny. Kaloo Kalay. I think of it like a spell, I guess, is the best way to look at it. I am going to take +4 to my AC, but attacks have advantage against me until the start of my next turn. Or longer if I choose to continue it.
It's got niche uses.
Yeah, niche. But it's. I think in those situations, it's going to be good. Like, if you can... I don't know. If you can predict that an enemy... Like, if you can guess, reading your DM or the situation or whatever, that a giant enemy frog monster is about to bellow out poisonous gas, I'm going to get my shell. Because that bonus to con saves, fantastic.
Nope.
And it just knocks you prone. So, okay, as a wizard character, I have cast a spell that has a concentration check. Bye.
Yeah, like for Total Wizard, that's what it's used for. I can't do anything else, but I can maintain concentration on my really damaging spell. Bye.
Yeah.
Lol. You can't get me in my shell, because then you're not even in the front line. You're in the back line where they're hitting you with ranged attacks, which they have disadvantage on.
Sure.
So you just plink arrows and spellfire just plinking off you. But it's clearly not meant to feed into the tank niche,
right?
Which you would naturally kind of expect, given that they're giant turtle men. I like that about them, actually. I like that it's about making sense for giant turtle men more than it's about making sense for some mechanical niche.
You know, I have to mention here, we didn't factor this into the calculations. You can still use a shield as normal.
Yeah.
So that makes your highest possible AC in your armor as a
just in your
23.
Yeah, that's
like
high.
if you drop into your shell.
Yeah,
that's pretty high.
Well, I don't.
Because right now I have a party of level 19 adventurers that sometimes struggle to hit a 23.
So as a DM, if they're pulling all of their heads and limbs and stuff into their shell, would you let them keep a hold of their shield?
I don't see why they couldn't bite it into their beak, and that's protecting the heady hole.
Thork.
There is nothing that says you can you
no,
can't.
I mean, I love it. I love that.
Fuck it.
And if you're a turtle who's wearing a shield, you obviously would have like the mouth bit right above the arm where you bite onto the thing and it pulls it right off your arm so you can retract. There's just a shield where the heady hole goes. Even two little pieces of glass where your eyes would be, just looking out.
Put it on your back, like
it's more
part
stuff.
of your body. Yeah,
There's more stuff on you.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. I'm wielding a two-handed weapon because, well, honestly, genuinely, because Great Weapon Master's so damn good that I'm not going to turn it down.
I had a lot of fun with Sharpshooter. Why wouldn't you have fun with Great Weapon Master? So, was there anything else you really like about turtles?
I like that they're not that tall.
Yeah, that's a common...
Most big races in D&D are also well tall.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 8 feet tall, or like Goliaths or whatever. But no, these guys are like 5'5". They're like bigger dwarf.
Man. I like Ninja Turtle fans in general. We're a niche. Like, it's a huge property, but it's not... I don't know. It's not the same as, say, like the Power Rangers or something. So, but man, if any of you are watching right now, you're going, yes, they are better when they're shorter. And I don't agree or disagree. Different strokes, different folks. But I felt that. So, what is there anything you don't like about the Tortles?
The adherence to thematic cohesion in their mechanics do present a bit of a challenge to playing one. Because if you look at this kit, what class is this for?
I always see Tortles as druids, but then I remember what druids are.
Yeah.
Except unless you're playing like the Star Druid, where you don't have to have
or the
animal
Circle of
shape.
Spores Druid.
Yeah, Spores is fine too.
But like, there's nothing really seems to mesh super well. Because there's just not a lot of classes. Well, actually, I believe in 5e there are no classes that get a bonus that have useful uses for both strength and wisdom. Cleric.
Yeah. Tortle Cleric.
Tortle Cleric.
You throw up a big concentration spell and hide in your shell.
Yep. I'm playing a Tortle Paladin, so close.
Yeah.
But...
And not all clerics have access to the heavier armors. So if you're playing a Tortle Cleric of something that isn't a very martial deity, then this works very well for you.
Yeah, because then you
don't have
need
to put
the
shit
heavy
in
armor.
decks.
You have big boy armor. And you can focus on your wisdom and your con.
Yeah.
And your strength.
Yeah, for smashing. Because
you get a bonus to strength and wisdom. And everybody needs con. There isn't a class that doesn't need con. But the other thing that is their fluff, I like it on the one hand. It's nice. It makes sense for them. But like, it almost crosses the line into being too on the nose.
I mean, I supply you with Tumblr's Tiefling paradigm.
Gay trash fire?
Yeah, Tiefling in the book versus what everyone plays.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, sure, but who's going to listen to that shit?
Not me. Mine, dude, is, for anyone in the audience who knows this, which, to be fair, I don't know a ton about this particular character. I've gathered it from, like, sugar packets and internet gifs. But my dude's personality is partially based on Wrath from Ben 10, which is the Jean DiMaggio one, for anyone who's confused. And that he's certainly not like a peaceable Master Yugway from fucking Kung Fu Panda. No. That's not what I'm playing.
That's really, honestly, that is actually the second version of Tortles I see. I either see the stereotype that you get that's listed, and then there's boisterous, fun, badass. So like you might not be playing into exactly what the book says, but
I am playing into what I looked at their stats and went, no, this is that guy.
Yeah, it's what the rest of the D&D community kind of goes. Yeah, that's the second thing.
I like that.
Yeah,
but what about you? Anything you particularly like or particularly dislike about Tortles?
Not really. I like them a lot. I've been looking for an excuse to play one, but I can never come up with a good enough excuse.
That won't just be overcome by your nerd rage.
Well, like I don't want to play a monk if I'm not going to get my stunning fist.
So you never want to play a monk in a campaign that's below level 6.
That is most likely not going to get to level 6 or
dropped a thing. Continue.
He killed my son. That's most likely or isn't guaranteed to get to level 6. You know what I mean? So, and I would like to be getting there quickly as well. I find monks undertuned until that point because they're melee support. They do damage. They can do pretty good damage, but
I did pretty good damage the one time I played a monk.
Sure, but they're not as good as they look on paper until they get their stun. Once they get their stun, that is a solid class.
Well, yeah, because it has easy access to one of the most powerful CC abilities in the game.
Definitely, and it's great setup for the rest of the party, and it's really strong, and I feel like it starts fulfilling its niche well. And also a bunch of the other monk powers start popping off. Your unarmed fighting damage, gets to a decent level, and your defenses get to a decent place. You're crazy fast,
But they're a class that takes a little bit longer to come online than some others.
And only recently have I been free to make choices to play something like a Tortle Monk. And also open-minded enough. I went through a big D&D reset until a couple years ago. I think I've talked about it on this podcast before. I don't really know what I play anymore. And we started with some stuff that wasn't Monk.
Yep.
So I don't know that I don't know if there's anything.
So nothing in particular about Tortle.
Yeah, I like them. I just haven't found a reason to use one that feels really good yet. Although I love clerics, and their total cleric idea that might be pretty good.
It fits,
honestly. And I'm sorry if I'm playing my hand about your world a little too much. Please feel free to tell me.
No. I steal things from pop culture and use them for D&D. I'm not original.
You're just a DM. That's what we do. You're the Father of Waters.
Yeah.
I've been really wanting to explore more about that character, that deity, since, like, Campaign 2. And I was thinking about doing that when the game comes up next. Now, I've got, like, 5 character concepts I've been juggling around, so who knows what I'll end up doing.
But that'd be a good
tool. Yeah, a Tortle Father of Waters cleric could be really interesting. So
he's one of the older deities in the setting.
Sure, yeah. But anyway, I guess I've already answered the how would you play it question. And you have, of course, as well, since you just made a paladin.
Like, literally just made a Tortle paladin. He's not the best like him being a Tortle does basically in no way helps any of his mechanics, and I don't care at all.
I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter about optimization.
Nope, he's just great. I love him.
You're ruling out edge cases is basically what optimization is, and it's less fun than being suboptimal. I in Dungeons and Dragons. So how do they fit into your world?
I've never really put them in.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned several times in this podcast, I tend not to color in the lines too much on any one race unless it's something specifically there for a reason in the setting, like the Dragonborn, which I filled in the details on before anyone played a Dragonborn. They're like that for a reason, or it's something one of my players is actually planning on playing, so I can work with them to fill in the details, so I can help bridge their ideas about how that race should work. Basically first one to play one gets dibs sort of style. Sort of work them into the setting. Where I can, with any of the like non-standard races that aren't already set up or there for a reason and a specific way for a reason. So for basically all of the past PHB tier races, aside from Orc, I guess, I tend not to fill in too much about them until I have a player for one. So I think I have them penciled in as being from the sort of swampy, peat boggy northern Isles. Well, their fluff is going to have to... The Isles fluff is going to have to change significantly. Sorry, we just wrapped up a several-year campaign like 2 days ago in that setting. And part of that wrap-up was them defeating the BBEG Lich that was turning it into the Shadow Isles from League of Legends. Mordekaiser. It was Mordekaiser. I'm not going to lie. It was Mordekaiser and Karthus. That's right. I stole them both. Come at me, right? Don't though. I don't want to.
What grounds would they have? How dare you talk about our characters in your
non-profit private enterprise?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. The player characters killed them, so I'm gonna have to change the fluff there. But that's kind of where they're from, and I would have them also in the part of the setting which I just stole from Monster Hunter. They would also be there.
Yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from that as well. I don't really have established a jungly Polynesia sort of setting in my world, so
they're very useful.
I wouldn't be taking that specifically. And my world is in a state of flux anyway. I can see the cracks in what I've established, and I might tweak some shit between now and the next campaign, but.
Me too.
Definitely the sort of swampy like Yoda people. I mean, and I say this again. When you established that, and we were talking about me maybe playing a Tortle character, you were like, "Well, they could be from there," and I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. I like that area. That's interesting." And then fast forward to my game, and I assumed that if anyone had any Tortle characters, they would come from a similar area. I like that idea. And it makes sense with who they are as people, because they're like tortoises who also do pretty good in water.
Yeah, they're not swimmers, but they can hold their breath for an hour, so they can pull a Jesus from Saint Young Men. Whatever, it's fine, I'll walk.
So I like that, and again, full disclosure here. Later on, I then played the Battle for Azeroth in World of Warcraft, and experiencing the Tortolan storyline in Zandalar, I really liked them. And I was going to use them when you guys went to Zandalar and found all the totally not troll Goliaths. But you didn't go that way, so, like, yeah, they exist in my world, and as part of this area, and they come from a nearby set of island swamps, and they have this whole religious pilgrimage they were on, and it just, you looked the other way.
There. No. Didn't go there. Went somewhere else.
No, that's fine.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
So that's Tortles, I suppose. Let's roll into something we both have less experience with.
Yeah, there's his regular players absolutely loves elephants, so we've both taken a fair amount of time thinking about Loxodon.
Basically, the thing to keep her from being too worried about her character dying, like players do.
Worst case scenario, I get to play an elephant man.
Yeah, well, and she didn't even know there were elephants in the first place, so it was like that look on her face when we told her about them, and she was like, I wasted this whole time.
Why am I playing this dumb character when I'm playing Elephant Man?
So, I don't know much about Loxodon from Magic the Gathering.
Me neither. Let's be clear, I've literally, and I'm being serious here, he just clicked the button on the software we use to look over fluff and stuff. I've never read this. I've never clicked that button for Loxodon.
They're elephant dwarves.
No. Declined. I don't care about the fluff.
I went very Eastern because I've actually taken the time and I've got them set up in my setting because they're going to be a principal power in the area that my next campaign is going to take place in. So they're very Eastern inspired. They're very, they went to war and realized the futility of war conveniently after their victory.
White doesn't realize how much of the Ottoman Empire he's made them.
Yeah. No, that is absolutely fair. I actually did take some inspiration from...
But it's really clear.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy keeps falling. I'm not
right.
putting him back to work.
He can sleep on the floor for now.
But I read that and went, oh, they're the Ottomans.
Yeah.
Like I said that in my head as I was reading.
More of a land-based society, but they've got like fucking ninja assassin paladins that like the SEAL Team 6 of paladins. So that's pretty fun too, and they do like a leader worship, not necessarily as a deity, but more like as a Gandhi.
Yeah, it's Japan doesn't worship the emperor as a god.
Exactly.
But he is the emperor. That sort of thing.
Yeah. And now their society's all about like peace and think about stuff and look inward.
But also, peace, think about stuff, look inward and submit to our hegemony because it's for your own good. Or we'll send Elephant Team 6 after you. Look inward and have peace. Or else.
They wanted to be the only empire. Somebody else said they were an empire, and they went, ha ha ha, cute.
I happen to be playing a character from that other nation.
It's broken and
bitter.
shitty now. It is falling the fuck apart. Basically run by the Yakuza at this point. But
yep. It's going to be fun because I get along very well with that player character, and she's a very mature person, so I will be able to, in character... have my character needle that guy. Mm-hmm. You need to look inward and have peace. Oh, that's, interesting that your people say that now.
It's going to be a reverse of when we played Spirit of 77, and isn't that right, Frank?
Yeah. What do you dislike about the Loxodons?
They're a little... powerful.
Yeah, they're overtuned. That was going to be my exact thing as well. They're overtuned. As a matter of fact, I used them as the chassis to build a homebrew ace that is intentionally overtuned. Because they're overtuned. Mm-hmm. It's a good... Alright, if I stick to this power budget, it will be an overtuned race that isn't broken.
I think they get, more stuff, but, for example, powerful build sounds really strong on paper, but... nobody cares about carrying capacity.
Nobody does.
So, it's something you're going to pull out once. It's stone cunning. That's the Loxodon stone cunning.
But they get their trunk, which is useful.
Yeah, they have an okay natural armor.
They have a good natural armor. Like
12 plus con. Yeah, it's not bad.
That's the standard.
I have 13 plus dex as a lizard folk I just made, so you know.
I like the plus con natural armors over the plus dex ones in general because it basically removes dex as a necessary stat in most cases.
Sure, and dex is definitely an overtuned stat. It's nice to see more stuff go to con, which doesn't even have any skills.
So, like, I like that, and it's the better version. Hey, and it says right here, AC calculations don't stack.
Yeah. The trunk is neat. It's not anything crazy. Honestly, like, as much as they feel overtuned, as much as they feel like the peak...
It's not like they have one or two really powerful abilities. They just have a whole bunch of abilities.
I feel like they're no worse than your high elves.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you get a whole ass cantrip.
Yeah, that's you're right. That's fair. That's entirely fair.
And that's a core book race. So, like, they look really big. But, like... You know, that can also be really intimidating for a DM. You know, you come to a DM and go, I want to play a Loxodon, and they might be like...
And they read this list and go, they got too much shit.
Yeah, no, get out of here.
But no, I like them. I like that they are big elephant men.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a fun concept. They are good mechanically. Look.
Sure, yeah.
About the only thing I dislike is that they're overtuned, honestly.
Yeah,
And even then, not much, not more than high elves.
Yeah.
Certainly not more than Eladrin.
I don't look much at the Eladrin, so something for another podcast, I guess. All right, well, I never really went into specifically what I like about the Loxodon.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they gave them the trunk.
Same. If they didn't have the trunk, I'd be mad. Like, if it was just a big floppy nose... No,
like
elephant trunks are prehensile. That's one of the cool things about elephants.
Sure, and I like that they're like, well, you can't use weapons and shit with it, but yeah, pick up stuff. Who cares? Like, but I'm glad they listed it mechanically because I've been there where you have to fight with your DM about that shit. I definitely have the cool DMs nowadays, but there have been times where I haven't, and I feel out there for all the little people who are like, it says right here I can use my trunk to pick shit up. So
I sip
like
tea
that.
with my trunk.
Yeah, screw it. And I'm looking forward to this player using their trunk for goofy shit and just having a good time with it.
Absolutely.
So how would you use them in your world? I've said what I've said.
Well, the setting that I've been DMing for a couple years now is going to be going through some updates, some patch notes before we play it again.
Are they releasing a new expansion?
Yeah, basically. But I would probably put them in the Jafari Empire.
That makes sense.
It is the Airsats Africa sort of area. Mm-hmm. There's big open savannas where Loxodon would have developed.
Sure.
And they just sort of fit. It also serves as sort of an India vibe area, as you've seen a couple times. Mm-hmm. And big elephant men in India. What's not to love? Lord Ganesh approves.
Right on. So let's say you had to play a Loxodon.
And I wasn't gonna play, one, if I had to play Loxodon, Cleric is right there.
Yeah.
It's for the same reason Tortle is big. It has built-in armor, has a con bonus and a wisdom bonus, which is even better, because then you could play a caster Cleric, maybe. Or something that really takes advantage of them being 8 feet tall, 700-pound walls of muscle.
I really like the Paladin of the Crown that my player is considering playing. I think that's a great use of your Loxodon. I just got done playing a Paladin of the Crown.
They're good.
I will totally play one again in the future, theoretically speaking.
They're good.
They're fun as hell. But I think, like Barbarian would be pretty cool. Like, woolly mammoth style.
Make a woolly mammoth Loxodon. Or I was thinking just like a bull elephant.
Sure.
Just some motherfucker separate from his society walks out into the fucking wastes and just gets the red mist.
Yeah, I think that's some cool shit. And, I mean, there's a lot of room for, I can see a very... Earth Mother kind of elephant too,
like a druid.
Yeah, like a druid.
I would really enjoy playing a.
Got the
Loxodon
softer
druid.
Dumbo look instead of kind of elephant.
Yeah.
Everything's better when Derek's talking about it. Oh, jeez.
End the show.
You say the thing I'm not allowed.
Everything's better when nerds talk about.